Hey, what is up, everybody? Thank you for allowing me to talk about the latest Phoenix Suns news. And I want to thank everybody who is in here. We're trying something a little different today, y'all. I am also going to be going live on my Instagram, which has been a feature for a while, but I thought I would try it out for the Instagram audience and everything. We already got a lot of people in here and we have a lot to talk about, you guys. This is going to be a great show. So thank you guys for allowing me to be here to talk to you guys about the latest Phoenix Suns news and a lot going on. We have a lot of things I want to talk about, but first we got to get this out of the way. I want to give a few special shout outs here to everybody that's here. Jason Ham is here. Swaggy is here. Phoenix Suns 1 says, hey, Geeker. M. John says, Suns Geek. Shout out to Gavin, who says, first time listening from Australia. Thank you for the content, Suns Geek. Well, I appreciate you. Shout out to the Australians. Shout out to the Aussies as well. Thank you for being here. We got Chantel with a very nice comment. Says, so happy we get yet another live show with Suns Geek. That is a very nice comment, and I appreciate you saying that. Slayer's Icon is in here. Lindsay is in here. Suns Fever 83, Geek Evening Man. Well, good evening to you, to everybody that's here. My guy Super Mario Hoops is in here, who also maybe later might be joining the show. Maybe. I did get your DM, Super Mario. He says, Hulk, smash that like button. Y'all already know. Seriously, you guys, crush that like button. Share the show because we got so much to talk about. The Chris is in here. Devin, David. Thank you to everybody that is in here, y'all. Okay, guys. So let's go ahead and get started, y'all. We got some news today that I think a lot of us knew was going to happen. And we're going to talk about another player a little bit later, but the Suns needed a point guard. It's that simple. They needed a point guard. And the Suns went out and got one. If you missed it earlier, in case you were at work all day or were busy or whatever the case may be, first off, thank you for allowing me to update you guys on the latest Phoenix Suns news, by the way. But the Phoenix Suns have done it. They finally go get a point guard. Hallelujah. We actually have a point guard. According to Shams Charania of The Athletic, Monte Morris plans to sign a deal with the Phoenix Suns, sources tell The Athletic and Stadium. Suns lock in a reliable point guard entering his 8th NBA season. Morris has averaged 10 points, 39% shooting from three, and 3.8 assists over his career. So, sorry, I'm just reading the chat. You guys are funny. James Jones cooked this off season. That's funny, man. Y'all are funny. Anyways, so yeah, the Phoenix Suns get Monte Morris. Now, look, you guys know I keep it real with you guys on this channel. And I would be lying to you if I said that I knew every single little detail about Monte Morris, that I'm a Monte Morris expert. That is far from the truth. In fact, prior to this signing, I actually had to reach out to a friend of the channel who is a Timberwolves fan, covers the Timberwolves. He's been on this channel before. And I said, hey, man, just in case, can you tell me a little bit about Monte Morris? And I'll read you his thoughts later. But I want to kind of just give you the rundown. And by the way, the Minnesota Timberwolves social media page on YouTube, they have a 10-minute highlight video of Monte Morris. So after you are done listening to this stream, I highly recommend that you go watch the tape and go watch some highlights for yourselves. Because we got Monte Morris now. We all need to learn about him. So, real quick, you guys. Monte Morris last season averaged 5.1 points per game, 2.3 assists in just 15 minutes with the Minnesota Timberwolves. However, he did not crack the Timberwolves playoff lineup. Now, I believe a lot of that was due to injury. And unfortunately, he has had a lot of injuries throughout his career, unfortunately. But this is a guy that continues to put in the work, plays quality minutes for whatever team that he is on. I believe he played for like the Pistons as well. And this is just a solid backup point guard option. And again, the Phoenix Suns have a point guard. We actually have a point guard, you guys. So now that narrative can now go away because we actually have a point guard. But let's dive a little bit deeper into it, you guys. I want to read you a quote here from Arizona Sports. In 2022-23, Morris played significant minutes for a struggling Washington Wizards team. I forgot he played for the Wizards. Alongside Suns' current guard, Bradley Beal. So he played with Bradley Beal. There's the Bradley Beal connection right there. Averaging 10 points per game. This is all with the Wizards. 5.3 assists and over 27 minutes per game. Again, with the Wizards. He spent his first 5 years developing into a reliable rotation player for the Denver Nuggets. And Morris started 74 games in the 2021-22 season. And quote, the point guard is notably a career 39% three-point shooter who can play make while limiting turnovers. He's only 29 years old, good decision maker, and just a good guard to have who limits mistakes for your second unit. And maybe could start every once in a while if it comes to that. I'm not saying Monte Morris is going to be day one starter and he should start for the rest of the season. No, I'm not saying that. But I could see him starting in certain games throughout the season. We'll see, though. So shout out to Monte Morris. Now, there's a little bit more. We got lots more to talk about, y'all. I want to pull up his basketball reference page because I saw something funny here. And I think it might have been one of the Timeline podcast guys that brought this up. But here's his basketball reference page. Throughout his career, you guys played in 375 games. I already read you the stats from last season. But throughout his career, he's averaging 10 points, 2.5 rebounds, 3.8 assists on 47% shooting and 39% from the field. But he went to college in Iowa State. And let me just read you some of his nicknames here. I thought this was funny. Some of the nicknames are Man, Big Game Tay, Count of Monte, Assist, Turnover, because I don't have the numbers in front of me. If somebody could fact check me, I think Big Merc might have just done it right here. I think his assist to turnover ratio is 9.86. And look, if you go and watch the highlights that the Wolves uploaded, again, 10-minute video on that, where he really does not make mistakes. And he's really good at finding his teammates. There were so many times where he had the fast break or it was like a 2-on-1 and he was already looking at his teammates and dishing it off to them. I love that. This is an unselfish player. Again, he's only 29 years old. I think he just turned 29, which is awesome. So shout out to Monte Morris. I am excited for this signing. I'm just trying to see if I missed anything, but there's his basketball reference page. He's played for the Nuggets for about 3 to 4 years, Wizards, Pistons, Timberwolves, and now the Phoenix Suns. And speaking of the Timberwolves, you guys, real quick, I want to read you the DM that I got from my friend, Let's Talk Wolves. Shout out to him if he's watching. So again, I reached out to him because being honest with you guys, I am not a Monte Morris expert. So I asked him, can you give me any insight, any feedback on Monte Morris? This is what he said. Really enjoyed Morris. I want him back, but it seems unlikely. Ignore what you see in Detroit. His shooting wasn't good because of injuries, and they were just a bad team. He's absolutely right on that, by the way. But continuing on, sorry, I'm just highlighting some good comments that I'm seeing here. Continuing on, what you're getting from him, much better defense than you'd expect. That's huge if that turns out to be true. Solid three-point shooter and mid-range shooter. Will not make mistakes. If you're looking for a spark guy who can change the game with scoring, then he's not the guy. If you want a guy who can come in and make a smart play with minimal mistakes, then he's a great option. And then he said, like, you'll get like 5 points, 4 assists, at max like 1 turnover. And seriously, you guys, I'm not saying NBA Twitter and I'm not saying Suns Twitter is right about everything, but just the feedback and the way that Suns fans are reacting to this signing is really good. I'm really excited that we got Monte Morris. And speaking of Twitter and stuff that I've been seeing on Suns Twitter, fun little fact. This comes from Kellen Olson from Arizona Sports. Monte Morris on, excuse me, let me try that again. I'll just share the tabs so you guys can see, because if you're new to this channel, you guys already know I cannot read. Monte Morris on 821 career catch and shoot 3-point attempts, 41.5%. So 41.5% on catch and shoot 3-point attempts. 821 of those, by the way. So that is awesome for Monte Morris. But there's a couple more things I want to get into here. This comes from Suns Are Better, one of my favorite follows on Twitter. My favorite Monte Morris stat. Let me try that again. My favorite Monte Morris stat. Assist to turnover ratio of 10.5. Career 39% 3-point shooter, like we've mentioned. Just turned 29 years old. The man knows how to play point guard. He can shoot the ball, and he's still got plenty left in the tank. And I agree with that last part especially. This is a guy, even though I didn't know much about him prior to today, that has been in the league, contributes to every team that he's been on, and I am just so happy that we got him, y'all. Shout out to Monte Morris. Let me get to a couple comments here, and the comments are flying in. I appreciate you guys. I'll try to get to as many of them as I can. My guy, Super Mario Hoops, says, Monte Morris has been second in the NBA in assist to turnover ratio for 4 out of the past 6 seasons. Second in assist to turnover ratio in 4 out of the past 6 seasons, including one season where he led the NBA in assist to turnover ratio. That is huge. Thank you for that fun stat and fact, Super Mario Hoops. And real quick, wanted to get to a super chat. Thank you so much to my guy, Sir Hamo from the Suns Planet podcast. Go check them out after the show. He says, thank you for bringing the fire content, geek. Well, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. And again, I appreciate everybody that's in here. We've been live for almost 15 minutes now. We are live on Twitter and Instagram as well. And the fact that you guys are supporting me is awesome, and I really do appreciate it. Okay. So let me just kind of get fixed here, y'all. Let me see if I missed any comments. Well, what's going on here? Okay, there we go. So real quick, before we kind of continue with Monte Morris, there was how do I say this? There's sort of been a rumor going on. Real quick, one funny comment. What? Suns Twitter isn't always right? Exactly. I love that comment right there. But anyways, there's sort of been a few Kyle Lowry rumors that I want to talk about before we kind of just put a bow on Monte Morris. But there was one rumor today, kind of a couple. I believe John Gambadoro from Arizona Sports tweeted out, now, but this was prior to the Monte Morris signing, tweeted out that the I just lost my train of thought. Tweeted out that the Suns still have interest in Kyle Lowry. Now, it was on or around the time when he tweeted that Mike Scotto from Hoops Hype tweeted this out, and he put it in his latest NBA rumors. Now, I trust Mike Scotto's reporting. There's lots of things that he's been right on in the past, and this was literally at the very end of his article. He was talking about all kinds of different teams and players, and then this popped up here. Quote from Mike A. Scotto. Lastly, Kyle Lowry is still a possible candidate to return. He's talking about the Sixers, but the Suns also have interest in his services. And then again, John Gambadoro from Arizona Sports tweeted out about the interest. Then a couple hours later, that was when the Monte Morris signing happened. And that's sort of the thing. I think because Monte Morris has been signed, that, and you could even say Kyle Lowry coming to the Phoenix Suns was extremely unlikely. This might make it even more unlikely. I'm not saying it's impossible. Maybe Kyle Lowry wants a change of scenery and he wants to win a championship. And maybe he looks at the Phoenix Suns and will take whatever money to come join us. I don't know. But again, Kyle Lowry could already go rejoin the Sixers, who, by the way, have had a pretty good offseason, in my opinion, especially signing, just in case you missed it, they just signed former Phoenix Sun Eric Gordon, Andre Drummond, who was one of my son's targets. They had a good draft, and they brought back Kelly Oubre as well, another former Phoenix Sun. So maybe Kyle Lowry's like, look, I'm already in Philly. I'm going to stay. But I think it kind of makes the Kyle Lowry thing even more unlikely. So we will have to see. But who knows? NBA free agency is unpredictable. Anything could happen. You never know. Let's read just a few comments here about Monte Morris. Slayer's Icon says, hey, he's born in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I didn't know that, to be honest, where Book was born. So they have a connection. Again, also played with Bradley Beal. Jordan says, I'm a huge fan of the signing. Saul says, preferred him over Kyle Lowry, young and more athletic. I agree with that. There were flashes of athleticism that I saw in those highlights. Let's see. Big Merc says, we're working on a nice defensive unit of Morris, Dunn, plus Plumlee, plus Josh Okogie if he resigns. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. There's some funny comments in here. Let's see. David says, how many minutes does he get a night? Depending on injury, I know, but about 25 to 30 minutes. That's a good question, David. I'm glad you brought this up. Because again, let's just turn off the injury button, please. Let's just turn off the injuries. And let's say we're fully healthy. And let's just pretend for a minute. Thank you for bringing this up, David. I appreciate it. Let's just pretend for a minute that we have our core five. So the big three, Grayson Allen, Yusuf Nurkic. And then you got Bol, Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal is probably our sixth man. Is that fair to say? I'm probably forgetting somebody else. And then you got our rookies, Ryan Dunn, Oso Garo. So Monte Morris has to crack that top 8, in my personal opinion, as of right now. Again, I'm recording this on July 2nd. A lot could change from July 2nd to the start of the 2024-25 season. So he's definitely in the top 8. I think 25 minutes is fair. And it might change from game to game. There might be games where we're going to need a lot of Monte Morris off the bench. And call me crazy, if it really is working out and he's contributing for us and playing well, I could see him maybe closing some games for us. So that's an excellent question. Let me know in the comments what you guys think his minutes should be. But he's definitely going to be part of that second unit. I could see about 20 to 25 minutes, like David said. That was a great comment. Thank you, David. Okay, let's see. Before we move on, Lindsay says, we love you. I appreciate that. DC says, what's up, Suns Geek? What's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Did Tyus Jones get signed yet? He hasn't. And I as much as I would love Tyus Jones, there's no way. There's no way that he's, I wish he could, but there's no way he's signing with the Suns. Abraham says, greetings. Okay, y'all. Let's move on here. Lots more to talk about. So again, just to put a bow on it, Phoenix Suns signed Monte Morris. This is a guy who has a good rep in the league, great decision maker, can score a little bit, play a little bit of defense, great assist to turnover ratio numbers, and I am really excited to have him on the team. And again, 29 years old, already been in the league for 7 seasons. He's a veteran, man. At this point, he's pretty much a veteran in this league. We need more of that. Suns fan for life says Hulk smash that like button. Yes, y'all, crush that like button. We're already 22 minutes into the show, y'all. Let's get those likes up. Crush the like button, y'all. And I'm just double checking. Just seeing if I'm still live on Instagram. I'm kind of trying something different, y'all. We're going live, obviously on YouTube, but I'm on Twitter, Instagram as well. So I was just double checking. Okay, cool. We're good. We're still live. We're good. Some funny comments on the Instagram chat as well. RJ, if you're still watching, that's funny, man. All right, cool. So, okay, let's move on here. Let's talk about another guard who we got. This one might have gone under the radar a little bit. And again, I understand why it might have gone under the radar. And that's no disrespect to this player, but this is a guy who hasn't had much run because he was on a championship team. And yes, he did win a championship with them. So let's start off with that. But let's talk about Collin Gillespie. Wow, I'm butchering his name. Collin Gillespie. I can't talk. Excuse me if I butchered his last name. But there he is. NBA champion Collin Gillespie. Hope I didn't just butcher that last name. We'll just call him Collin since I can't pronounce names on this channel. But yeah, we signed him to a deal. Now, real quick, you guys, just so you guys know, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, this is a two-way deal. Now, look. Thank you, Danger. It says Gillespie, like the ESPY Awards. Gillespie. Collin Gillespie. Anyways, I was talking to a friend recently, and this friend didn't understand really what two-way contracts are. And I'm not saying like I'm a two-way contract expert and I know all the contract. No, I'm not saying that. But the research I've done on two-way contracts, and we've had a lot of players who have been under two-way contracts. Pretty much a two-way contract is you get a certain salary, so whatever the team gives you, and you have 50 games to play either in the NBA or the NBA G League. Back in the day, fun fact, it used to be you only had 50 days with the team if you were under a two-way deal. Now it's you have 50 games. So we have signed Collin Gillespie. I'm just going to call him Collin Espies to a two-way deal. Now, it's interesting that the Suns social media team posted this graphic of him because we also signed Jalen Bridges to a two-way deal, who went undrafted but has a lot of 3-and-D skill set. I believe he went to Baylor too. And they haven't announced that yet, so I don't know if the contract is just not done yet or official yet. Maybe they're waiting until, I don't know, but I just thought that was interesting. Now, look, sort of just being straight with you guys, because you guys know me, I keep it real with y'all. I knew little to nothing about Collin Gillespie, and I know that that's not the best analysis. I know that's not what you guys are here to, that you want to hear, but it really is hard to follow every single NBA player, especially when they've been buried on the bench and they played in the G League. It is tough, y'all. But was looking up some stuff on him, and I want to give a shout out to, again, another one of my favorite follows on Twitter, AZ Sports Zone. Collin Gillespie averaged 20 points, 10.8 assists, 9.3 rebounds, 2 steals in 8 G League games last season on 45, 40, 90 shooting splits. Now, again, that's nearly a triple-double on great shooting splits in 8 games in the NBA G League. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to come in here and pull MVP Russell Westbrook numbers and average triple-double on great shooting splits. It's very unlikely that's going to happen. But I do like that. And that's another reason why I love the G League, because guys can really shine and show NBA teams what they can do. And that's why I'm glad we also got a G League team. Real quick, Suns fan for life says, thanks for all the Great content. Appreciate you, man. Thanks, Suns Geek, for all the great content. Shout out to my guy, John, from the Suns Jam Session podcast. Appreciate you being here, my friend. He says, howdy ho, Geek Squad. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for everybody that's in here. All right. A little bit more, though, just so you guys know. Again, it was Adrian Wojnarowski who reported the signing, but I want to read you guys a couple more things. He also did quote tweet Woj's tweet. And again, maybe that's why the Suns social media team posted that graphic so quickly and announced the two-way deal. He put new beginnings with the prayer emoji. So he is officially a part of the Phoenix Suns team in the Valley. And just a little bit more, though, just some stuff that I was seeing. Shout out to Brandon Clean from the Locked On Suns podcast. He does great work. He mentioned, if you guys can see on the screen here, just the absurd, and we kind of went over the numbers, the absurd G League numbers from last year. And I think all this came from Sam Vecini from The Athletic. But Brandon goes on to say Gillespie had a 36-point triple-double as well as multiple games with 15-plus assists. That's Collin Gillespie's G League numbers. Just incredible numbers. And again, another guard on this team. Now, I don't know how many minutes Collin Gillespie is going to get. Who knows? He could be buried on the bench playing for our Valley Suns G League team. I don't think that's confirmed. I'm just saying. Because he is on a two-way deal, so he'll probably suit up for the Suns. But maybe there's times where Mike Budenholzer is feeling a little, he wants to experiment, and maybe he puts him out there. Maybe he proves us all wrong. So I like the signing. Again, I need to watch a lot more film and tape on him. I want to see how he is as a playmaker. But this is now a third string guard, if you will, that could potentially help our team on a cheap two-way deal. And speaking of that, I believe that is now two two-way spots taken up. Jalen Bridges has one, even though I don't think the contract is officially signed, but it was announced. So that's one from Jalen Bridges, not Mikal Bridges, Jalen Bridges. And then Collin Gillespie with the second two-way spot. NBA teams can have one more. I think that was announced last year or the year before. You can have 3 two-way spots. And we will have to see what happens with that. Maybe closer to NBA training camp, maybe. We will see. Final thing on Collin Gillespie. We will move on after this. The Suns obviously made the signing official, and this is what they posted, I believe, to their website. But this screenshot comes from Dwayne Rankin of the Arizona Republic. If you want to get to know him a little bit more. The Phoenix Suns announced today that the team has signed guard Collin Gillespie to a two-way contract. 6'1", 195. Made his NBA debut with the Nuggets. Appeared in 24 games. 3.6 points in 9.4 minutes. And then they talk about the G League, where he absolutely dominated. We already went over that. Was part of the Denver Nuggets championship from the 2022-23 season, or I guess the 23-24 season, excuse me. 22-23. They won in 2023. You guys get the point. Though he did not appear in a game as he was recovering from a lower left leg fracture. 25 years old, went drafted after 5 standout seasons from Villanova University. Twice earned the Big East Player of the Year honors. Helped the Wildcats go to a championship in 2018 and won the Bob Cousy Award in 2022 for the best point guard in the country. So, yeah, that is more info on Collin Gillespie, and I will do my best. Like I said, you guys, we've had two-way contracts announced. We've had Suns Summer League players announced. and I'm going to try my best to educate myself on all of these guys. Maybe in future live shows, I'm like, hey, I want to talk more about this player and that player. I'll do my best, y'all. You guys already know the drill. Take a shot for every time I've said one-man show on this channel. I am literally a one-man show, but I will do my best. And friendly reminder, you guys, Derek says, don't forget to subscribe and like for my boy, Go Suns. Appreciate that, man. We got over 200 people in here, you guys. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And I appreciate everybody that is in here. Okay. Let's move on, you guys. Real quick, just a quick comment from my guy John from the Suns Jam Session podcast. Gillespie will be great at getting players like Jalen Bridges and Oso Garo quality looks for the Valley Suns. Exactly. I'm like, even though I'm excited for this signing, like, unless he like outplays and outworks everybody, like this guy is not going to play very, a lot of minutes, I should say. And I don't mean to sound like a jerk for saying that, but it is true. Because we literally went over the Suns' at least temporary depth chart. More on that later, by the way. And I already named like 8 or 9 guys that are going to play over him. So, okay. Let's see. 92 watching and only 40 likes. Come on, y'all. Hit that like button. Seriously, guys, crush that like button. Share the show. Okay, guys. Let's move on here. Lots more to talk about, you guys. The Phoenix Suns earlier today, I wanted to go live and kind of like react to it and pretty much do what we're doing now, but I'm kind of glad I waited because we got the Monte Morris signing out of the way and everything. But the Phoenix Suns earlier today did a press conference, an introductory press conference for their new rookies, Ryan Dunn and Oso Garo. And I'm going to put on my headphones here, and I'm also going to take a sip of my water because I've been talking for 30 straight minutes. And I just kind of want to go over some key kind of quotes and things that they said in their presser. It was kind of a short presser. It was only like 15 minutes, but let me put on my headphones and we'll start off with one key quote that James Jones said during Ryan Dunn and Oso Garo's pressers or introductory press conference. So while this is playing, I'm going to put myself on mute and I'm going to let you guys listen to what James Jones said. Again, it's on their YouTube channel. You guys can go watch it. And real quick, just quick takeaways. Both Ryan Dunn and Oso Garo seem like stand-up, mature young men. So I'm glad they are part of this team. But let's listen to what James Jones had to say. Let me lower this banner too, so you guys can see the quotes that James Jones is saying. All right, here we go.
We were fortunate enough that the things did fall our way, but we had a plan going into it. We knew that we had the ability to trade some assets that we had to gather more, to target the 2 guys that we wanted. And luckily for us, as the draft moved, there were a couple players that fell, and so it shifted draft position and just put us in a space where we could be extremely aggressive and get the guys that we wanted. But that's the draft. You don't know going into it you'll be able to get everything that you want, but we believe we got everything that we wanted. Plus,
So I'm going to let that play one more time, and then we're going to react to some other quotes, but I'll just play it one more time, you guys. This is James Jones talking about sort of the draft process and what the Suns front office mindset was when they were trading for and selecting Ryan Dunn and Oso Garo.
We're fortunate enough that the things did fall our way, but we had a plan going into it. We knew that we had the ability to trade some assets that we had to gather more, to target the 2 guys that we wanted. And luckily for us, as the draft moved, there were a couple players that fell, and so it shifted draft position and just put us in a space where we could be extremely aggressive and get the guys that we wanted. But that's the draft. You don't know going into it you'll be able to get everything that you want, but we believe we got everything that we wanted. Plus.
So James Jones's microphone like cut out, but that last word he said was, we got everything we wanted plus more. That's one takeaway was, and I was live, I think after the draft. I've done so many live shows. I'm like literally losing track of time and that. But I was live after the draft, and the Suns social media team played this video. It's on their, Twitter and all that now, where owner Matt Ishbia was there, CEO Josh Bartelstein, Mike Budenholzer was there, James Jones, and they were like, "Hey, like we were targeting you and talking to you for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever, however long it was." And I think it was Mike Budenholzer who was like, "I knew when I saw you that one day that you were our guy." Like it really seemed like the Suns front office actually did their homework and scouted these guys properly, and these were the guys. You know what I mean? So it seems like the belief system in these young players is there. The support is there. And somebody fact check me. No disrespect to Tamani Kamara, but I don't remember him having a press conference. I could be wrong because it was so long ago and I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning. But like the fact that they had a press conference for these two guys and everything James Jones was saying, it's like these guys are going to be with us all season. You know what I mean? I give it like a 2% chance that these guys would get traded this season. Because last season, don't forget, we drafted Tamani Kamara. He was on our summer league team, and then he was part of the Damian Lillard, DeAndre Ayton trade. So, Okay. Chantel says, no, he did. If he did, I don't remember it. Maybe I did. I don't remember if I went live for it, whatever. But you guys get the point, though. These guys aren't going anywhere, to my knowledge, at least right now. You never know. In the NBA, things change. But right now, I don't think they're going anywhere. All right, more to talk about, you guys. Let's focus in a little bit more on some of these key quotes that the guy said. Sorry, my computer's just being a little slow right now. Let's pull this up right here. So this comes from Gerald Bourguet from PHNX. I'm sure a lot of you guys know who he is. Let me just fix this. Sorry, y'all. My bad, you guys. How you guys doing? You guys doing all right today? What's today? Tuesday, July 2nd? You guys doing okay today? So another key quote here. This again comes from Gerald Bourguet from PHNX. He asked Ryan Dunn about the challenge of honing his defense by guarding Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal in practice every day. Quote from Ryan Dunn: "It's going to be fun. That's the biggest thing I'm excited for. I'm playing against some of the best offensive scorers in the history of the game." And this is part 2 of the tweet. Especially right now. So going up against them day by day, I'll probably get torched a little bit here and there, but it's just how it is. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for the ups and downs. It'll help me get ready with those guys and learning from them. And I agree with what Ryan Dunn said, because we all know this guy brings a huge defensive skill set with a 7'1" wingspan, good size. And he's right. He's going up against 3 of the best scorers in the league every single day, but yet he's going to learn from them every single day. And I think that's going to make him even better. And look, I know that there are concerns about the jump shot, and I'm sure he has addressed that or will address it like through the media. But think about it. This guy's going to be locked in the gym all summer. He's going to be playing for the Suns Summer League team. There's training camp. There's preseason, regular season to at least make the jump shot, not necessarily like respectable, but like you have to stay on Ryan Dunn. That should be Ryan Dunn's biggest goal, is the jump shot. And that's exciting. I think he is going to embrace that. I think he is ready for that challenge. Now, we will see over time if that's the case. That way, he's not a liability out there on offense. but I am excited to see what this kid can do defensively, especially when you're learning and playing with guys like Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. And again, there's lots of other great quotes that came from this presser. One quote from Oso Ighodaro. There's actually two quotes from Oso Ighodaro that one of them I liked, one of them I didn't like. And I know he was joking here. I know he was joking, but the salty fanboy part of me didn't like this answer. So he was, they were talking about Oso Ighodaro, who's an Arizona native. I think he is from Chandler or something like that. He was asked if he grew up a Suns fan, and he had a response. I didn't like his response, but he was joking. He was just having fun. But this is what Oso Ighodaro said about growing up as a Suns fan.
Yeah, I didn't really grow up a Suns fan. The Suns weren't very good when I was growing up, unfortunately, but
come on, man.
Yeah, I watched a lot of LeBron James. It was my favorite player. Watched Kevin Durant, obviously. So it's to have someone like that on the team is special. And I like the players I would watch. I just, but we're growing. We're trying to improve, trying to win a championship now. So I'm a Suns fan now for sure.
I'm a Suns fan now, but for sure. You weren't around when the Suns were bad, Oso Ighodaro. Come on, man. No, I'm just kidding, man. I get it. At least he was honest. just like people are saying, typical new age player, fan of players, not of teams, and then time to trade him, says Suns Fever 83. Yep, Oso Ighodaro is a bandwagon Suns fan. It is time to trade him. I'm just kidding, you guys. And yeah, my guy John says Desert Valley High School. Yep, thank you. I knew that. I just completely forgot. And look, that's okay if he is a fan of players rather than teams. But you would think, like him being from Arizona, he would have been like a Suns fan. I don't know. Anyways, Sir Hamill says at least he was honest. I agree. One more quote, though, speaking of Oso Ighodaro. Now, I'm paraphrasing the quote here. And I think this came from the last part of the introductory press conference, but I like this mature answer where he pretty much said he's a good teammate, a good locker room guy, and quote, will get others involved. I like that because this is a high IQ player who's a decently good passer and will get other players involved. I feel like Oso Ighodaro, from the highlights I've seen, is a guy that's always going to be moving, and that's what we're going to need a lot of. Same thing kind of with Monte Morris. I kind of get the vibe like he's going to be everywhere on the floor, and we're going to need that. So that was the introductory press conferences for Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro. Okay. A little bit more Suns news here. And then I'm not sure if my guy Super Mario Hoops is still here and watching. I think he said he wanted to join the show because there's some Bulls related things I wanted to talk to him about. Not sure if that's still happening. I originally invited him on to the show earlier, but he's been busy with work and stuff. We're trying to plan a show in the future. So if you're still watching Super Mario, let me know if you want to join. If not, we'll do it later. Okay. A few more things I want to talk about, though. This is going to be the unpopular part of the show. Okay, Super Mario's still here, so we're going to get him on in a little bit. We're going to talk some Bulls. So get ready for that, Super Mario. I'm just saying. Maybe like 15 minutes, 10 minutes from now. Cool. So Super Mario is going to join the show. We're going to talk some Bulls and some other NBA stuff. Okay. This is going to be the unpopular part of the show. And I know a lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings about this. But John Gambadoro from Arizona Sports, I believe yesterday, tweeted out that, yeah, we're going to talk about the Bulls because he's a Bulls fan, Chuckster. But and I have some thoughts on the Bulls too. But anyways, John Gambadoro tweeted out, he was responding to a tweet saying, "Announce Nurk for Walker Kessler. which, by the way, is not going to happen. But John Gambadoro said, quote, "I do not expect the Suns to trade Nurkic. He should do well in Bud's offense. He will be back." The reason that this is unpopular is Yusuf Nurkic has randomly become the Suns fans' scapegoat. A lot of Suns fans just decided to pick on Yusuf Nurkic, and I understand he had a really bad playoffs. I get it, but in all fairness, so did a lot of Phoenix Suns players. Just saying. Even if Yusuf Nurkic played very well, we still wouldn't have gotten, who knows, probably the Timberwolves beat us in like 7. We still wouldn't have won. It's just that simple. Because we obviously saw what happened. We saw the disconnect. We saw the poor leadership. So a lot of Suns Twitter is completely overreacting to the Yusuf Nurkic stuff. It seems like every single day I see a Yusuf Nurkic trade rumor, Yusuf Nurkic this, Yusuf Nurkic that. There are a decent amount of Suns fans that want to keep him. I get it. There are a lot of Suns fans that do want to keep Yusuf Nurkic. And let me remind you guys that a lot of this is just Suns Twitter and Suns fans being angry. To my knowledge, besides John Gambadoro, who is actually plugged in and has connections and has sources, this is really the only Suns rumor, and I put that in quotations, about Yusuf Nurkic getting traded. Like, there's been no like other solid reporting. Like Mike Scotto hasn't said anything. Shams Charania, Adrian Wojnarowski, et cetera. All those like Flex from Jersey hasn't said anything to my knowledge. So a lot of this is just fans overreacting and picking on Yusuf Nurkic, when in reality, Yusuf Nurkic was one of our best and healthiest players. The Suns were statistically better and won a lot of games with Yusuf Nurkic. And when he didn't play, it showed. So I don't get it. I don't get why all these Suns fans are like, trade Yusuf Nurkic, when in reality, we haven't even seen what this team is going to look like. I know that we've made a few moves here and there, but like the roster isn't assembled fully. We haven't even played a preseason game yet. We don't know what Coach Bud's offensive system is going to look like. And can we at least get through half of the season before we start talking about trading Nurkic and if we'll win a title or not? A lot of this is just overreactions. There's people that are like, oh, well, we can't play him in the playoffs. But again, it's like, y'all, we weren't going to win anyways. You know, like you could have said that a month before the playoffs. Let's say Yusuf Nurkic had an incredible playoffs, right? Let's say he played like 6-7 games and was dominating and playing great. We weren't going to win, y'all. Let's be real with ourselves. And yes, Yusuf Nurkic has his flaws. So does every player for the most part. Guys, he actually wants to be in Phoenix. He is a great teammate. And I have been defending. You know how we had the whole like DeAndre Ayton stands? At least the last few live shows, I've been a Nurkic stan because it just seems like Suns fans are bored and they're just finding a scapegoat to just talk trash and they just think they have all these great trade ideas about Yusuf Nurkic. And that's another thing, y'all. Put yourself in the shoes of a general manager. This is not NBA 2K. Just because a team has a player available, or there's a trade rumor about a certain player, or just because your trade works on the trade machine, does not mean that the other team is like, oh, we'll take Yusuf Nurkic. Sure, we'll do that. Y'all, like, trading, I've said this so many times on the channel. I'm going to whisper it so you guys can hear it. Trading Yusuf Nurkic is a lot more complicated than it sounds. And I've also said this many times on the channel before, or at least a couple times on the channel. If James Jones, our general manager, and Matt Ishbia, our owner, are happy with Yusuf Nurkic, he's not going anywhere, y'all, at least right now. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to preach to you guys. I'm not trying to sound like Mr. Know-It-All here. But the overreaction for Yusuf Nurkic is just too much. And I don't care. Like, I might receive some heat for saying this, but it is the truth. A lot of this is coming from spoiled Suns fans. The Suns fans that think we can get every single player and that every single player should want to play for our team. It is coming from the spoiled Suns fans. That's just the truth, y'all. The truth hurts. And speaking of the truth hurting, I'm not saying that I am right about everything. Let's fast forward to the NBA trade deadline in 2025. Maybe Nurk isn't playing great and the Suns trade him. Okay, then sure. But even then, trading Yusuf Nurkic is complicated. John says, you mean Suns Facebook groups? Yes. As bad as Suns Twitter is, if you have a Facebook account, do not join a Suns group on Facebook. It is terrible. Okay, we're going to get to a few more things, and then we're going to get my friend Super Mario Hoops on just for a little bit. Probably won't be live for too long. Just a heads up, Super Mario. But we'll go a decent amount of time. Want to get to a few more things before we kind of transition the show. And you know what? My little rant there on Yusuf Nurkic is a good time to bring up this tweet. I retweeted this. I shared it on my Instagram. By the way, y'all, the links are scrolling right there. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. In fact, I'll pull up a banner that I made a long time ago, which is like old by now. I'll pull it up if you want to follow me on social media. But my links are right there. You can also follow me on TikTok as well. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Follow me. Just search Suns Geek and you'll find me. But this is a good time to pull up a great tweet. Now, earlier, I'm not sure if this person's still watching, but we had a fan of the channel from Australia who was watching. In fact, I think I still have that comment, or I guess I don't. But anyways, we had somebody who's watching from Australia. And speaking of the Aussies, shout out to the Aussie Suns Fans podcast, who tweeted out an excellent tweet here, you guys. I had to show this tweet love. I shared it on Twitter. I shared it on my Instagram story, and this is just facts right here. Somebody from the Aussie Suns Fans Twitter account tweeted this beautiful tweet out. It's already got over 100 likes, 11 retweets, 8,000 views with this beautiful tweet, who says, last year, as Suns fans were over the moon with the free agent period, we're talking Drew Eubanks, Yuta Watanabe, Keita Bates-Diop, et cetera, proclaiming the greatest assembly of minimum players to ever hit the floor. And it ended very, very badly. First off, that tweet right there already is amazing. Then he says, this year, a more cautious approach to fit, and we are impatient for the avalanche of last year. Calm down. This is one of the greatest tweets, Suns-related tweets I've ever seen. Last year, us Suns fans were over the moon with the free agency period, proclaiming it was the greatest assembly of minimum players to ever hit the floor. And it ended very, very badly. This year, a more cautious approach to fit, and we are impatient for the avalanche of last year. Now, what he's pretty much saying is, especially with the new CBA rules, and when Paul George and Klay Thompson were pretty much holding up free agency, which that was a real thing. I think Suns fans were expecting for us to make all of these moves on day one, and free agency for the Suns should be done on day one. That's not how we saw it happen. I was live for like 4 hours, and the Suns made like one move, and they made it after I stopped going live. So this is just a great tweet, y'all. And I even had a tweet prior to this where I put like a GIF of Yoda, or GIF, whatever it's called. And Yoda's saying patience. I was like, Suns fans, it's a long, long off season. We got to be patient. We're 2 days into free agency, y'all. I could see there being little to no Suns news, or should I say moves. And then later on, maybe we kind of fill out the rest of the roster. Who knows? We could wake up tomorrow and there could be a signing. I don't know. So I had to go over that great tweet, and go follow the Aussie Suns Fans podcast right now. Go check them out. I've been on their show before because that was a great tweet. Okay, y'all. So what we're going to do, this is going to be kind of a freestyle part of the show. I am going to bring on a guest, friend of the channel. We're going to talk Bulls. We're going to talk Suns. We're going to talk some other stuff just for a little bit, maybe like 30 minutes. We'll see. But I do want to bring on friend of the channel, somebody who helped me, break down, what was it, free agency? I've been doing so many live shows, I'm getting them mixed up at this point, but I want to bring on friend of the channel, good friend of mine, Super Mario Hoops. Oops, I got to get you on the stage. There we go.
Ooh.
How are you doing, my friend? What is up, my man?
Doing pretty good. It's a glorious day today, but it's just good vibes right now, I guess.
Speaking of good vibes, I want to pick your brain on that.
Bad vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely bad vibes. Real quick, before we dive into what I want to dive into, do you have any thoughts? I know I'm going to shoot a lot of questions at you, but do you have any thoughts on the Monte Morris signing? Any thoughts? I guess I can ask you question by question. Let's start with Monte Morris. And if you know anything about Collin Gillespie, because clearly I don't, do you have any thoughts on those signings? Like, what did you think when you saw the news?
Yeah. Well, first of all, with Monte Morris, I think definitely one of the better point guards you could have got. And at least like in the last 6 years, I think he's been top 2 in the NBA in assist to turnover ratio in like 4 of the 6 years. And then one of the years he even led the league. I think technically he would have maybe even led this past year, but he didn't qualify or something like that. So, I mean, he's definitely a guy where kind of plays like a traditional point guard, I guess. And I don't think he's all that old either. Like, I think he's like, what, 30, 31?
Yeah, I think he literally just turned 29, which is crazy.
Or 29, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good right there. And especially like looking at the point guards and stuff on the market, because you guys needed a point guard, and it seemed like you guys needed like some change at the big like center position. But I think like at least getting a point guard like that, like that's gonna help out the needs. Now I'm just questioning like if because like I don't know. I feel like you guys might have to come to a point where you have to consider looking at Bradley Beal the same way the Warriors looked at Clay, but maybe like not as like damaging to the relationship, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think like if you start Monte Morris at point, and are you going to start those other two guys, then you're kind of undersized at the 3, or are you going to keep starting Booker and Beal, and then it's Monte Morris going to come off the bench? Then it's like it almost feels like it didn't really serve the same purpose as people thought.
That's fair. Do you know much about Collin Gillespie? Any insider feedback on that before we kind of move on here?
Well, I know he screwed me out of my March Madness bracket one year because I picked them to win it all, and they literally got embarrassed super early. No, I mean, he's definitely like a shooter. He's a guy that can maybe be like kind of like a good locker room presence per se, but overall, I don't see him really getting like too many minutes. Like I feel like it's so weird because we didn't really get to see like Damian Lee play for you guys last year. But like if he had played, I feel like he would be inserted in a similar role as that. Like some days he might play like a few like decent minutes. Other games he might get like DNPs.
So even though a lot of people know you on this channel, for the people that don't know you, Super Mario Hoops, do you just want to quickly tell people about your YouTube channel and what you do? Also, do you want to tell them the team that you're a fan of that we're going to talk about here in a little bit so people aren't confused?
Yes, sir. I am the last remaining Chicago Bulls fan on the
For
planet.
real, dude.
I stand for all of us now, apparently. But yeah, I mean, if you want to find me, I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Mostly like my YouTube, make content like NBA tournaments. I make some NBA talk, debates, and some IRL basketball. And little tidbit, I won't spoil too much, but there might be some more IRL sport
Ooh.
ideas in the future. So you want to stay tuned and check that out.
And I also know one of your newest videos was a fun tournament that you did, which I was a part of. I don't want to spoil what happened in there, but I am on that. So I appreciate you having me on. And then you also got some more stuff that you're going to be doing that I might be on soon. We will see. Can't wait for that.
Yes.
All right, man. So we can kind of improvise here because we sort of went over this earlier, but schedules, real life comes first. Do you want to talk about the Bulls? Because right before I went live, by the way, and I just want to make sure I'm getting this right too. I haven't read the article, but let's be real. These rumors have been floating around for a while, and I'll pull it up on the screen here. It's funny that you mentioned you're like the last Bulls fan. It might be coming to that real quick. That's the wrong tweet. So this popped up earlier. Again, I haven't read the article. This comes from the Chicago Sun-Times. The relationship between Zach LaVine and the Bulls front office, quote, is completely shattered. Chicago is hopeful they will eventually find a taker on the trade market for Zach LaVine. Then earlier, I think I saw something that was like the Bulls are exploring Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic trades so that way they can fully embrace the youth movement. Now, in case you guys missed it, you were on one of my recent shows. I'm getting them all jumbled up at this point. And we had a decently fair conversation about the Bulls, but I don't think we really like got into it. So I guess what I'm asking you here is, and I'm sure I've asked you before, but I'm going to ask you again. Do you think the Bulls should pull the plug, trade Zach LaVine? Should they trade Nikola Vucevic and go on this full youth movement? What do you think, man?
Well, first of all, and I feel like bad, like having to call people out, but Joe Cali, who's the one who said that, I don't like him.
He's a hater.
he's always like spitting some just hate about the Bulls, trying to like ruin us.
Bro, why are you covering the team if you hate him so much?
He's not reliable either. So
okay,
this report right here, it could be true, but it also could just be straight up made up.
Yes, yeah, we've seen that a lot. Trust me, Suns fans know that for a fact. We've seen that a lot. Fake reporting out there.
So, but let's just say that under this impression, he got this one right. And he's saying, yep, LaVine and the Bulls are frustrated. I mean, you even saw, like, even earlier today, it was, like, confirmed DeRozan's not coming back to the Bulls. Like, we don't know where he's going yet, but we know he's not coming back to the Bulls. That's for sure. So, with that being said, it's like, these are two of your star players. And to think that there's a bad relationship with the management, it's like, don't get me wrong. I mean, playing for Chicago, who wouldn't want to play for Chicago? Just in general, it's one of the biggest markets. It has 6 championships. We have the GOAT. So it's like we have like a whole lot of reasons for people to want to come here. But when they see like that our relationship with our management and our 2 best players is like not that great, people aren't probably going to want to come here for a while, which is what sucks. And I know we're trying to rebuild anyways right now, but like who knows how long these guys will be here? Who knows how long the stars in the league will hang on to that. So that's like kind of my first thing. But then the other thing is, to answer your question about moving on from Zach LaVine, I think we've been trying to. It just seems like it's really hard to.
Right.
Like even like reports too coming out saying like for us to get rid of him, we would have to attach a first round pick, which if that's the case, we might as well just not trade him until at least the season starts and let him show that, hey, like he's like, dude, they're treating him like he's Ben Simmons.
Preach.
in
He's
the
really
trade.
not that bad of a player, dude. He's
Like as
not.
much as I hate on Zach LaVine, at least he will try to be out there, and at least he's got a complete game. He just plays bad. Like he plays dumb at times, and I just don't get like how his trade value is like so dramatically low. I don't know. Like, but I think he will probably get traded eventually. I just don't know how it'll happen this offseason. If it were to happen this offseason, it would have to be like the timing of like a very late move, like when last year when Dame went to the Bucks, or like when James Harden got traded to the Rockets, like in 2012, or you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it will probably be a move like that, like very late, right before training camp, or even during training camp. I don't know, but yeah. And then I saw reports too that if DeRozan leaves, which it seems like now he's basically going to,
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that too, so go for it.
that we probably will trade Vucevic, which
Yep.
I mean that's good because then we're building in the right way. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think like the only thing I am questioning is I don't think we should trade Lonzo right now. I feel like he's a player we should at least hold on to for midway through the season because more than likely it's a weird situation that he probably won't be there long term or maybe super duper long term now, especially if we don't totally believe in him. But let him build his stock up a little bit. Like right now, you trade him. It might be harder to trade him than Zach LaVine right now. It's just that they haven't been as actively. So if you wait till the season starts and you're like, oh, Lonzo still got that passing ability. Oh, he can still defend at a solid level. Then boom, like you can maybe move him somewhere else. He's on an expiring deal, so teams will probably be more likely to trade for him like midway through the year. If you're a team like the Pistons or the Jazz and you're already missing the playoffs, you might make that move, So I don't know.
So while you were talking, I was looking up Zach LaVine's stats, and obviously last season dealt with the injuries, 25 games, but in those games, 19 and a half points per game, 45% shooting. But throughout his career, dude, a 20 point per game scorer, again, pretty much on 46% shooting. And I know he's dealt with the injuries, but people forget how athletic this guy used to be, how fun he used to be when he was like on a breakaway, would throw down like a windmill or something like that. Used to be a pretty athletic player. And I know he's not like the best shot creator, if you will, kind of chucks up a little too many shots, but he used to be and kind of still is one of my favorite players in the league, especially if he's healthy. Maybe that's why a lot of people are kind of overreacting about this apparently reported low trade market, and he doesn't have any trades out there. And you kind of touched on it, like with Nikola Vucevic and DeMar DeRozan or something like that. Like maybe the Bulls are going to embrace this youth movement, but they're gonna maybe take their time a little bit. You know what I mean? It's not like this is NBA 2K where you just have to press a button and change your whole franchise. Maybe they're gonna just take their time with it. Maybe they're gonna kind of do a little bit of both, where they're gonna embrace the youth movement, but try to get back as many assets as they can. I've told you about this before, and I think we talked about it. Like your guys' EVP, executive vice president, finally went on record and said, yeah, we need to be better. I need to make better moves. So glad he actually said that. So real quick, I know we're kind of jumping all over the place, but there was a funny question from my guy, John, from the Suns Jam Session podcast. How does it feel to have Jalen Smith sticks on your team? Former Phoenix Sun rookie Jalen Smith signed a deal with the Bulls. How you feel about that, man?
I mean, I feel good about that signing. I think honestly, like, I mean, yeah, the Caruso trade, I feel like we definitely could have got picks back. That's the most frustrating thing. Like, I don't care we traded Caruso for Giddey, but if we would have got picks along with that, I would have been satisfied. But like the way we drafted and like also in free agency, like getting Jalen Smith, I think it's setting us up in the right way where we have a lot of our guys on the team are young, from like him to Io to Kobe to Bazelis to, I
Yep.
mean, like Lonzo Ball is really still not that old. Obviously, Giddy, like Patrick Williams, like so. There's a lot of players in that mix that are like under 25. I don't
Yep.
know how much all of them could break out necessarily. I think the one that I'm most optimistic about is Bazelis, who we just
Yep.
drafted.
We talked about him a decent amount on that
Yeah.
draft show, I think, or
Mhm.
free agency show, whatever it is.
And I think the one that we're all just kind of waiting for and trying to figure out is Patrick Williams. Like, is he going to take a jump? Because
Yeah.
the thing with him is like he's in his 4th year now. I know he missed part of like the year we were actually good, which is kind of unfortunate for him. But like at this point, you're going into your 5th year. Like he still plays like a rookie mindset at times, and it's like you have to get over that curve. Kobe White kind of played a little bit the same way for a while, but last
We all
year
saw how he broke out this year.
I would say it even started a little bit the year before when we had Patrick Beverly,
Okay.
because even Pat Bev was saying too, like how, okay, like he's going to have the keys at the point guard spot, which was kind of up in the air for a while when Lonzo was out. And then this year, that's when we all saw like he really was the most improved guy, like statistically most improved guy. So
yeah, should have won most improved player, by the way, in my personal opinion.
Got robbed by
robbed.
Romps guy.
So we're pretty much just gonna have to see what happens, man. You know me, I was pretty sour on the Bulls because I just, there were so many injuries, inconsistencies, and then I think at one point your EVP was like, no, we're gonna keep this team, we're gonna run it back, and then finally, I think it was a couple months ago, finally said, yeah, we're gonna do things better, go in a different direction, make better moves. And it seems, at least on paper, at least right now, that the youth movement is on in Chicago, sort of. I feel like you guys low key, though, at least, I know free agency isn't done yet and trades could happen, but I feel like you guys low key could be like a sneaky team where it's like a trap game. You know what I mean? Because you guys got good size, young players, good scorers. I could see a lot of that happening where it's sort of like a trap game every other night. Maybe you guys could win a handful of games here and there, but I just think the youth movement needs to be on. We haven't even talked much about Josh Giddey. Like, were you thrilled about that? Like, I know there's a lot of negativity with Josh Giddey because of what happened in the playoffs and then some off the court stuff. I'm not going to talk about that. What did you think of the Josh Giddey trade? Like, were you shocked?
Yeah, I was definitely.
I think a lot of us were, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like it wasn't as much like, okay, we trade Caruso. Oh, we got back Josh Giddey. Oh, we got just Josh Giddey. Like,
exactly.
Like
just Josh Giddey.
And the team that has like the most draft picks in the league, that we couldn't get any.
For
Like
real.
that's the most frustrating thing, especially because like we're already a team where like we have weird protections on our picks. Like I think one of the years coming up, like we have a like lottery protected pick. Otherwise, it goes to Portland. I think this coming year we have to be a bottom 10 team, top 10 pick, or else it goes to the Spurs. Like, so it's like it puts us in a really weird situation. So having extra picks sure would have helped. And I feel like if you like, okay, do you think if the Bulls even just asked for Josh Giddey and one pick, one unprotected first round pick, maybe even next year, if the Thunder's pick next year, probably be a late first rounder, you think they would have taken that?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I think that's the point of the conversation. The Thunder have so many picks. It's they can give it out. It's like gold,
Like they didn't like, how should I say? Like they didn't like squeeze the lemon like hard enough.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, like juice it or milk it for all it's worth. Yeah, like
they just they threw the lemon in a blender and they said go to work.
Which that's where I wish I was a fly on the wall for that conversation. Like, there's no way the Bulls were just like, yeah, we really want Josh Giddey and only Josh Giddey. You have to think they were like, hey, can you give us a pick of some kind? I don't know. Maybe that's one of those things where it's like, hey, maybe we'll do you a favor down the road, Chicago Bulls. Maybe you'll get a pick in the future. I don't know. I'm just saying.
The one glimmer of hope I will say is that I think, and obviously, like, we won't talk about it, but obviously we know like his off-court thing. But I think because of that, a new scenery helps.
Yeah.
Maybe like I think anywhere, like no matter if it was the Bulls or the freaking Wizards or even the Lakers with LeBron and his son and that show going on right now, like the Suns, like I don't know, like I think anywhere else, like his mentally he would have felt a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll probably stink this year. I just hope we're not one of those teams that's hanging around the play-in and then we're in jeopardy of losing our pick. So
that's what I'm talking about, man. That's why the Bulls have been so frustrating the last few years. Now, we did talk about this. In all fairness to the Bulls, again, if you guys were healthy, we'd be having a completely different conversation. The Bulls will be in a completely different scenario, but that's not what we're talking about here. I agree with you. I hope either you guys are either really bad or you guys maybe surprise some people. But again, you don't want to be too good where you lose your draft pick. So we'll see, man. Do you guys even have many future draft picks going forward? Do you know? I mean, I'm sure I could look it up, but like.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of ours coming up. It's just that like we have protections on like 2 of them.
Gotcha.
So but that's why it would help like with OKC. It's like, okay, we're guaranteed a pick. Like even like let's say next year we did like screw up and we were the 11th worst team and we lose our pick because of the protection to the I think it's the Spurs, and then but we get a pick from the Thunder, maybe it's like the 26th, 27th pick. I mean, at least you got something then.
Yeah.
You know?
So real quick, Super Mario, what we can do here is I want to go over one kind of final Suns thing that I meant to get to, and then we can really talk anything else NBA because there was a little bit of NBA news today. We can kind of freestyle this part of the show. And I sort of referenced this earlier when I was kind of talking about the Suns depth chart. You're welcome to comment on this and give your thoughts. But this comes from Kellen Olson from the Arizona Sports. He was talking about the two-way roster spots. So the Suns have 2 roster spots that are currently open and 1 two-way opening. I mentioned that earlier. So point guards, Devin Booker, ? Monte Morris. Shooting guards, Bradley Beal, Royce O'Neal. Grayson Allen, although he could play a little shooting guard. Nazir Little, unless he gets traded. David Roddy, unless he gets traded. Kevin Durant, Bol, Ryan Dunn is your power forwards. Nurkic, Plumlee, Iguodala. Two-way contracts, Jalen Bridges, Collin Gillespie, and he said might just be Damian Lee and Josh Okogie coming back. We'll see. Would you agree with that, assuming no trades go down or anything? Is that, I don't even know how to phrase this question, but like, do you get the point of the conversation here? Like, that's what the current Suns roster looks like on July 2nd, 2024.
Yeah, and I mean, there's still a lot of time left in free agency. Like I was just talking actually with the people on the shout out the 3 Point Weekly podcast, but I was just talking with them because I mean they were talking about the Nuggets and obviously they lost KCP and then like last year they lost Bruce Brown, and it's like this free agency at least like things are moving slower. Even still like after like people said, oh, Paul George is going to sign and it's going to create a domino effect. It really hasn't because there's still a lot of guys left out there. So I just think, teams like that, like there still is an opportunity to bolster the team. The thing like though, when I look at the Suns, I just feel like, and obviously like we know like Booker can play point guard, but he's naturally a shooting guard. Like Royce O'Neal could play shooting guard. He's probably naturally a small forward.
Same name with Grayson Allen. Like I think even more as a guard than a forward.
I do too. Like that's just the one thing. And it's like I think I'm curious to see because this is the starting lineup you guys basically rolled with last year with Frank Vogel. Like I'm curious to see like what changes Mike Budenholzer makes, Yeah.
No, I agree with you. That's where
I don't think Grayson Allen will be starting, to be honest. Like I feel like that'll probably be a change, especially because I don't know, like he did start some with him in Milwaukee, but he never really started at a 3. So because you always had like Middleton there.
I don't know if I'd want him playing the 3 either. Not trying to disrespect Grayson Allen because I love Grayson Allen, but I see him more as like a guard, combo guard-ish. you know, I wouldn't want him as a shooting forward, slashing forward, whatever you want to call it. Small forward.
I just feel like he like, and I've told you like my thoughts on Grayson Allen. Like he's not bad, but like I think sometimes maybe he gets overused, and because of that, he doesn't play up to his potential in the playoffs. Like if he was coming off the bench playing like a, how should I say it, like an Austin Rivers role, like how he played like near the end of his career and stuff like that. Like, if he was playing that role, I'd feel a little bit better. But I feel like if he's getting like 40 minutes a game and you're relying on him to hit a lot of shots for your team, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. I just wanted to cover that because I sort of referenced it in the live show. But again, sort of like I was talking about with Monte Morris, and that's no disrespect to Monte Morris, but there's a lot of guys that are above him, as you can see. Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen, Kevin Durant, Yusuf Nurkic, Bol. You know, then it gets, you know, Mason Plumlee. I forgot about Mason Plumlee. I haven't really talked much about Mason Plumlee because I don't really have too many thoughts on it. But that's pretty much our depth chart as of right now. But again, you guys, you said it earlier, Super Mario. I said it earlier. Be patient, Suns fans. It's a long season. It's only July 2nd. Like anything wasn't DeAndre Ayton like traded like midway through July or something last year? Like
I think
the
it was
Damian
like
Lillard trade. Yeah, yes, exactly. September. Yeah. I'm getting my dates mixed up here. Like just saying, it's a long off season, y'all. So Super Mario, man, we can kind of just lob this up to you, and anything you want to talk about, man. Doesn't have to be Suns related, doesn't have to be Bulls related. We could talk about whatever, man. Like, you want to go over the latest NBA news or something? Like, what do you want to talk about, man?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about whatever. I think the first thing though is like, I mean, I'm looking at like some of the free agents that are still left. I mean, there's some good ones like Buddy Hield,
yes,
Gary Trent Jr.
Yes.
But I have like just one confusion, you know, is that like, because like there's a lot of teams that, you know, have a solid point guard, but there's maybe not a whole lot of teams that have a solid backup point guard. I know Monte Morris was a good choice and you guys just got him, but like, why are like no one's giving Markelle Fultz a chance?
Yep.
Like I don't know. Like I get it, he has the injuries. I get it. Like maybe his, you know, shot from 2017 with the pinched nerve maybe has never fully recovered, but
yeah,
he's a really good playmaker. And I would argue, like if we're looking at all the starting point guards like in the league, like you compare him with the other ones, he might be a top 3 defender. I would say. Because a lot of them are like okay, like acceptable defensively, but if you got a guy like that on your team, like he could help you out at least. I think at least he's a better version of Dante Exum.
Yeah. Good size, good wingspan, good defender. We saw Dante Exum had a really good season for the Mavericks, by the way, and obviously made it back into the league. You know what I mean? And played well. I feel like that's what could happen with Markelle Fultz. Like, I could just see him joining some kind of quote championship contending team and playing very well for them.
You say that too, and I was thinking in my head, I'm like, if I'm the Nuggets right now, I would take a chance on him. You just lost KCP. You need a guy. You just lost Reggie Jackson too, so it's like you get a guy that can run the show. Like he's not going to do too much. He plays at his own pace, and I think honestly, Jokic would love a guy who plays at his own pace. I feel like, you know, you've seen the reports of Jokic like wanting Westbrook and stuff like that, and I just think they're completely different. Like as much as maybe he thinks they're alike, and I know he wants them, I feel like it would drive him crazy.
I understand it from that perspective. And you and I usually agree on a lot of stuff. I don't know. That just seems like a Denver Nuggets pick for me anyways. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But you might be right. Maybe, like maybe the pace that Russell Westbrook plays at. Obviously, he's not MVP Russell Westbrook anymore, Mr. Triple-Double, even though he still can get triple-doubles. Like, I agree with that, but I'm like, that kind of makes a lot of sense for the Nuggets. But outside of that, the Nuggets just have a lot of question marks too. Because it was the year before they lost Bruce Brown. I think they might have lost somebody else. This year they lost KCP, which I've already seen some reporting on that first off, I love that for the Magic, by the way. The Magic just got even better, in my personal opinion. It's like the Nuggets got to fill out that roster, man. They still want to be championship contenders. And you could argue they have Jokic, Murray, etc. They're going to be in the running, but are they really trusting their young depth to like grow so quickly? You know what I mean? And to fill those roster spots. And I like a lot of their young guys like Christian Braun or Brown, however you say his last name. A couple of those other guys too, but I'm just like, I don't know, man. Peyton Watson's pretty good, but I don't know.
They should have tried to do what they could to. I mean, obviously the Magic got KCP. They should have tried to get Gary Harris back or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would have been good.
The
But
Magic got Gary Harris back, I believe. So.
yeah. So like, and now Casey can't follow him around or anything like that. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that like I don't know. I think the Magic are going to be good though. Like I think I predicted that regular season they're probably going to be like one of the best records next year, and that they're missing the last missing piece of the puzzle.
Yeah,
Anthony Simons.
Ooh, I love that for them.
That's what they need.
Yep, that would be such a great fit, at least on paper, because obviously they just need more scoring weapons and more offense and everything. I saw a few people, maybe this was just coming only from a couple people, that were like criticizing the Magic for spending their salary cap on their guys. It's like, first off, you have to spend the money no matter what, or I think you can get in trouble for that. Two, why not bring back continuity and chemistry for a team that made it to what, game 6 or 7 of the first round and played very well and had a lot of regular season wins? Bring that back. And then worst case scenario, maybe trade them down the line. But like, I don't know. And they still have cap space just a little bit, I believe. It's like, what are we doing, man? Like the Magic had a good year. They're continuing to build off that, and they got better with KCP. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with all that, but
I'm kind of glad that they didn't go for like a Paul George or a Clay.
yes,
because I feel like it makes more sense. Like, I don't know. I'm not too high on like what. Well, I really just don't know what to expect with the Sixers, but they're just like really weird. And then as for the Mavericks, I don't know. You know, like you lose Derrick Jones Jr., but you add Clay, so it's like you add maybe another.
They got Najee Marshall too. He's okay.
Najee Marshall's not bad.
He's okay.
But I mean, I feel like they almost needed to elevate it even more, because I feel like if they brought that roster back this season, the same roster, they probably wouldn't be the favorites to win the West, or probably even the second best team to win the West.
Yeah.
Like they'd be up there, but I mean, of course, there's Denver, Minnesota, OKC, the Suns, the Clippers, or but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. First off, kind of final thoughts on the Magic. I agree with you. I think they will be one of the better teams, especially in the East this year. I kind of like what the Mavericks did, at least on paper. I do. Like, do you think Klay Thompson's going to have a better season next year, especially with the guys like Kyrie and Luka setting him up? He can just be in the corner all day, if you will. Maybe he has a bounce back season, but again, they made it to the NBA Finals. They're temporarily the reigning Western Conference champions. Got to give them credit where it's due. I like the Najee Marshall signing as well. So we'll see about the Mavericks. You think Clay's going to have a better season, or what do you think?
I think mentally and maybe just overall, like the vibes, he will. I don't think his numbers will be that much different. They might even be a little bit less than what he got in Golden State, like by a point or something like that. But I think he'll enjoy playing more.
Oh yeah,
Dallas. Like he has to. Like people were saying, he's just gonna fill the Tim Hardaway Jr. role and stuff like that. And I'm like, why would he sign with Dallas if he wasn't gonna start? Like if he wasn't gonna start and he wanted to be somewhere where he didn't have to start, he probably would have just stayed with the Warriors.
Yep, I agree with that.
So but it seemed like that was kind of like one of the biggest things that was irking him, and so I'm curious how it'll go with them. But I do think he'll have like a little bit of a better year.
Yeah, definitely, man. I agree with that.
Also, I just didn't like what his dad said about him not going to the Lakers.
What do you say? I must have missed that.
It was really weird because he said like, I'm not in a very congratulatory mood, and then he said like, he basically said he was really disappointed in Clay for choosing Dallas over the Lakers. I'm like, bro, like, first of all, like, it's his career, not yours. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I hate when it's like he's trying to like feels like he's trying to dictate like what Clay should do. Just because you played on the Lakers, like maybe just because like that's like kind of your NBA home doesn't mean he needs to go there, even though he is a Laker fan. Like
Also,
his best
like,
move.
let's be real. Let's say the Lakers did get Clay. Were they really going to be that much better? Probably not. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a biased Suns fan. It's true. Like, even if they get your boy DeMar DeRozan, like, are they really going to be that much better? Maybe with DeMar DeRozan, but like, you know.
The one thing I think too is I feel like the Lakers are probably the only place Clay could have went where he might have been even in a mentally worse place than where he was right now. Not just because it's LA, not just because all the attention that maybe like LeBron might bring,
the media, fans.
But do you know, like, I can already expect there's going to be a documentary on this season years from now, and they're going to have media coverage that's going to feel like The Last Dance because LeBron is playing with his son and he's got his podcast host, JJ Redick, coaching the team and everything like that. Like, I don't think people want to be a part of that. That's why, like, when he said he was going to take a pay cut for Clay didn't come. If for James Harden, he didn't come there. Valanciunas, he didn't come there. And I don't know if DeMar DeRozan's going to come there. I feel like the only reason he would go there is just because he grew up a Laker fan.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you, man. We're going to have to see what happens. Yeah. We're going to have to see what happens with that. But I just think even though free agency is kind of off to a slow start, there's still a lot of teams that can make some difficult decisions, and we can maybe see some trades happening soon, some more free agency. Maybe,
Zach LaVine.
Yep, Zach LaVine. We'll see. Maybe the market starts to pick up a little bit, and teams are like, "Hey, we need to fill this roster spot. Please sign here." You know, we will see, man. Super Mario, you got anything else, man? Like, we're pretty much just improvise. I'm trying to look for like good questions and everything, but I just, guys, if you got any questions, let us know right now. Anything else you want to talk about, man?
Let's see. Anything else I want to talk about?
I'm just trying to search the chat if there's anything else.
Yeah, I kind of do. We don't have to spend, I guess, too much time on it, but like, I don't know. It's I guess it's weird bringing this up on like the Suns channel, but like, why does everyone hate Donovan Mitchell? And I don't even mean like fans at this point, but like, why does his own management hate him? Because the dude signed an extension. He stayed loyal to Cleveland. He said, I'm not going anywhere. When he could have went to the Knicks, he could have went to the Heat, could have went to LA, who knows? But he's like, you know what? I'm going to stay in Cleveland. I'm going to stay loyal. Because I feel like he truly is like a loyal guy like that. But you look at the team around him, they haven't done a thing since the season ended. Whether it's the draft, they haven't done well, haven't made a trade, haven't made a signing. Like, are we really going to see Jorgis Yang and Tristan Thompson play on an NBA court again? Like,
I believe I even saw a report saying they're thinking of keeping Jared Allen too. I could be wrong on that, but I swear I saw that somewhere.
Like, as much as like, I feel like Garland maybe in a different situation could help out, but I feel like in this Cavs team, I liked what I saw out of Donovan Mitchell that stretch when he had to really play point guard last year. I feel like that's probably what unlocked him the most in his career so far. And if you remember, they went like 18-1 without Garland and Mobley. And I think like Mobley being there is definitely important, but it just doesn't seem like the right decision to have two small guards in the league like that. You have to, one is okay. And I think that's why you saw like when the Warriors traded Monte Ellis, they were moving off of a small guard like that and investing in Curry. And I think that might be what the Cavs need to do in trading Darius Garland and just build around Mitchell, put solid 3-and-D around him. Like, Jorgis Yang is not a solid player like that. How is anymore? I question, like, I'm not going to lie, he gives me hope. Yeah. He gives me hope that I can make the NBA still at my ripe, washed age.
So I saw some other people talking about this, and I really do believe it. I believe that there is no hostility between Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell.
I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with him.
But unfortunately, social media is going to be like, these two hated each other and Darius Garland needs to get traded. It's going to get overblown. I bet you those guys are brothers off the court.
I mean,
I agree.
You even saw too, like in that game 7, when he was over there consoling him on the bench, like basically the only one right by him, Donovan Mitchell to Garland. And then when he hit that 3, they basically like hugged, like, you know, during a timeout. Like I that felt like really personal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, I just think maybe Darius Garland wants a new situation, maybe quote his team. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. He's still a good player, borderline-ish all-star. Darius Garland, good scorer and everything. We'll see. And I know the Cavs haven't had much success in the playoffs. Maybe they've even underwhelmed in the playoffs, if you will. But I look at it this way. I know that Donovan Mitchell just got his extension or whatever. Congratulations to him. We'll see what happens with Jared Allen. I don't think Evan Mobley's going anywhere. But let's fast forward like a couple of years. If they keep flaming out in the playoffs, like what do you do? I'm not saying they have to like blow it up, but like, do you trade a Jared Allen? Do you trade Evan Mobley? Then eventually that's when the Donovan Mitchell trade rumors will start happening again. Like we're in the year 2026 or something like that. Cavs haven't won a title yet. Does Donovan Mitchell get traded then? Do they kind of go in a new direction? I don't know, man.
I feel like this extension probably tells me that if anything, like he's the biggest focus on the team. And so no matter like what they need to do to try and compete, they'll try and move all those pieces before they might decide like, okay, we're never going to win. Maybe we have to move Donovan Mitchell if it's like 6 years from now or 5 years from now or whatever it may be. But I just hate like, because I don't know, the guy has really never been given like star quality players. Like look around the league and you'll see a lot of guys paired with another guy who's a multiple time All-Star, maybe a future Hall of Famer or something like that. And he just really hasn't had that. His best teammate is Rudy Gobert probably in his career. I mean, and no offense to him, but I feel like that's kind of sad.
Yeah. I see what you're saying too. Like he needs another guy that is a all-star, superstar talent surrounded with great role players.
Because Garland was that before him, but like he just, I don't know what it is. He doesn't have the same consistency he once did. Is it because of adjusting? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, let's be real. I like Darius Garland and everything, but he's not like a superstar, you know.
Right.
Just saying. So I do get what you're saying. We'll have to see, man. Cavs, they're a good team on paper. They're good during the regular season, but they got to start winning in the playoffs. So real quick, we'll get to a couple questions, and I think we'll probably wrap up the show. But I'm going to quickly answer this one because I have no clue. Your guess is as good as mine. Everybody in the chat as well. But Suns Geek, what do you think the Suns will do next? Bring back Josh Okogie or Damian Lee, and then maybe make like one more signing if they even have that roster spot, and that's pretty much it. Ooh, but one more thing I will say. To my knowledge, we don't have a lead assistant coach. That could come next too. Just saying.
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash, yes, please.
And Supermax Bull. No.
But to kind of follow up on that question, Elias asks, all right, what are we doing with Nasir Little? He's a good trade asset to get us something we could be missing. Do you think we should wait, or do you think we should trade him now? Probably wait. And look, I like Nasir Little. He showed flashes of potential, but like, you know, good trade asset is debatable, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how much we would really get back for him. You know,
I just feel like his trade value won't change.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like from now until February until next June. So it's like, I mean, I guess you could hold on to him until the right trade comes around, but he won't be like the focus of the trade probably.
And to my knowledge, he's still under contract, so he's probably under the impression I'm going to be playing for the Suns next year. So I don't know. We'll see about Nasir Little. I sort of answered this question, kind of, sort of. Is it more likely the Suns sign Damian Lee over Josh Okogie at this point? That's a good question though. Like, do you want good 3-point shooting or do you want more defense? That could be a whole like live show in itself. You know, like And there's been a little bit of weird reporting on both of these guys. I thought at first they were both coming back, and then we've had different reports saying they're going to test free agency, but they could re-sign, restructure their contracts and come back. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'll just say this, and I've said it. I sound like a broken record at this point. I want to see Damian Lee in a Mike Budenholzer system. That's all I'm going to say.
You know what, too? Like, why not get a guy who can do both? Javonte Green.
Former Bull, right?
And I don't get, too, like, when we're talking about players that, like, why does it feel like there's hate there? Like, why did he take so long to get signed last year? There's no way the Bulls should have been the smartest team in the Javonte Green sweepstake. But, like, literally, he needs to get picked up by a good team. He could help any contender, I think.
Yeah. I don't know much about him as you do, but he's still fairly young, right? Like 24?
He's about 28, 29.
Okay, 28. Yeah. I
But
don't know.
he's a great, like, probably one of my favorite role players that we've had in a while. So
plays hard, can shoot, play defense, correct?
yeah.
There
He
we
can, I
go.
mean, he can do it on any, and like I said, like you said, like he just plays hard. That's the
Yep.
biggest thing. You look at Caruso or Westbrook or, like guys that play hard, but like he's not like as turnover prone. He really, I think a few years ago when we were actually good that season, he was very prone to making mistakes, and he's since has like gotten way better at limiting that, which is really surprising why we ended up waiving him and then no one picked him up for so long then.
So real quick, not to change subject, this might be the old Suns fan in me talking, but Dagoon is asking any truth to the Suns looking into Marcus Morris. I don't know who is reporting that. I haven't seen anything about that. Maybe this is the old Suns fan in me talking, but I cannot see any of the Morris twins ever playing for the Suns ever again because of how badly that situation ended when they were here. Now I know it was a different front office, different ownership, but still, I don't even know where that's coming from. Could be a rumor, could be BS. I don't know.
What about Monte Morris?
Yes. Who, by the way, just tweeted out a cactus emoji and a lock emoji. So he's showing love to Phoenix already.
He's either locked in or he's locked in he's stuck in the desert, maybe.
I know. He's trying to ask for help. He literally tweeted that too. You can see it on my phone, locked in or whatever. Cactus lock in. Are you okay, Monte Morris?
someone said welcome to Phoenix. I saw on there. Like he's literally stuck in the desert.
I know, right?
Crazy.
So good. Okay, let's see here. I don't know, man. I think that's it. I don't really know if there's anything else to talk. I'm sure there is, but I don't know.
I got two more things I'll say and then we can close it out.
Yeah, let's do it.
One, I think the Grizzlies are definitely going to be much better this year.
Yes.
And I know you can appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And I hope because like I don't know, I feel like this year is probably the best last good chance that D Rose has to win a ring. And I need that. I need it. So that's the first thing. Second of all, I know this isn't really NBA, but I'm going to just say it. Angel Reese is rookie of the year right now in the WNBA.
Yeah, I can see that. Over Caitlin Clark.
Yep.
And whoever else is playing good in the WNBA.
Yeah.
I need to watch more WNBA basketball. I'm not going to lie to you. I need to be
were
better.
Named All-Stars today,
yep,
too. I think it's like the first time in like 10 years that two rookies have. So,
yeah.
But we know who's superior. Everyone's going to be triggered.
I don't mean to sound like a negative Nelly, but I'm just going to shoot this down right away. No way is Miles Bridges even going to consider signing with the Suns on a vet minimum. I even saw, exactly. I even saw a rumor he might go to the Clippers, which, look, all jokes aside, that kind of makes sense in my opinion.
I mean, they got like his whole jail cell on the on the team.
And they also got Kevin Porter again, which that was kind of weird. But they also got like Mo Bamba, I think. They got not Ryan Dunn. They got Chris Dunn, who I really wanted on the Suns. But yeah, there's no way Miles Bridges is.
But you know what? I do think I think everyone's hating a lot on the Clippers. I do think they had an okay offseason. Like they're still going to be a playoff team. Maybe not a title team, but they're still going to be a playoff team.
Well, unless you're like a legit hater and you're like pessimistic or whatever that word is, you cannot fault the Clippers for being so quickly aggressive because they just lost Paul George. Like,
I mean, Chris Dunn and Derek Jones Jr. Like those are.
I forgot about Derek Jones Jr. I forgot about
and that. Nicholas Batum. I know he's older, but like he can still hit threes. He's. I know, like shout out again, Romp, but I know Romp loved them there. So
a lot of Sixers fans did, and I agree with you, man. Like they did all that they could to replace Paul George. And they could be a good team next year. I'm not saying they're going to win the championship, but they could be pretty good. And James Harden's still there. Russell Westbrook's still there? Question mark. Might get traded. We'll see.
Yeah, I think he'll get traded. Probably him and Tucker, but I don't know where. But I think you look at that team, like they have like probably 11 guys now. When if they kept Paul George, they probably would have had like 8 real guys. So that could always help in your favor. It's not like they're like short of star talent either, because Kawhi, Harden, and then Norman Powell right now can be the guy off the bench. Like they have a decent like identity that they could figure out pretty quickly.
And they got a lot of wingspans and length and size, so that's going to be fun. I could see them being pretty good on defense for at least the most part, anyways. Okay, let's see. Final question, then we're going to wrap up the show. Why has it taken them so long to show the newest jersey numbers? If he's talking about the newest Suns players, I saw from Suns Worldwide on Instagram, like I guess he DM'd or tagged Monte Morris in a post and was like, Monte Morris responded saying he's gonna wear number 23. I don't know why like Ryan Dunn and Oso Garo haven't chosen their numbers yet. Let me see. I'm just looking something up.
While you're looking that up, though,
yeah, go ahead.
It's funny this is asked here because I think the Bulls fans bullied Matas Buzelis because originally he picked 00 as his number.
I've seen that.
Everyone's like, "Oh, that's so ugly, no aura," and then now he switched it to 14.
So shout out to
like better, but
shout out to Suns Worldwide. Like I said, he tagged Monte Morris in a post, and he was like, "I'm wearing 23." So shout out to him. But yeah, I don't know what number Ryan Dunn and Oso Garo are going to wear. It takes time. We'll see. Some of it has to get confirmed too, because like you said, Matas Buzelis was supposed to wear what 00, and then he switched it to 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I do like that better though. I think 14, like I don't know, 00 is weird. You know, like I don't know. At least on him, it would have looked weird. I think.
I feel that. All right, man. I know I said final question, but are we keeping the El Valle jerseys? I don't. We'll see. That's like a September question. We'll see. All right. Well, Super Mario Hoops. Again, let the people know where they can find you. While you were talking earlier, I actually put your link in the description. But just tell the people where they can find you, man.
Yes, sir. You guys can find me whether it's on Twitter or Instagram or YouTube at Super Mario Hoops 24. Yeah, and like I said, NBA talks, NBA tournaments, some of which this guy is in, some IRL basketball stuff, and some new stuff to come that's still very sporty themed, very NBA themed, basketball themed, but you know, we're trying new ideas out and everything like that. So yeah.
Well, Super Mario, thank you for joining, man. I know this was kind of spontaneous, but hey, we did pretty good for 2 guys that were just talking about doing a show together and then doing pretty much an hour show. So thank you for joining, helping out with this show. Thank you for the help. I've done so many live shows that I don't even remember who was on what show. So whatever show you were on recently, thank you.
It was the second round draft.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't know why I thought it was free agency.
Get picked and stuff like that.
Yeah, oh, I remember now. That's how like mentally fried my brain is. I'm still like processing everything that happened in the draft and free agency.
We couldn't remember how that like 51st pick or whatever got moved.
Exactly, dude.
It was like an hour.
But this was fun, man. We definitely got to do this again. Obviously, as things go on with the Bulls, we'll have lots more to talk about. We'll have to get you on soon. And I appreciate everybody that was tuning in. And this was a great live show. So again, you guys, Check the links in the description. Follow my guy Super Mario Hoops. Subscribe to his channel. Follow me on social media. You guys already know the drill. If it has to deal with the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to make a video about it. Win or lose, Phoenix Suns for life. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there. Be kind. Be nice to each other. And you already know the drill, y'all. Win or lose, Phoenix Suns for life. Peace out. And go Suns.